Christmas is fast approaching and so is the New Year, but we are here for the next half an hour for your entertainment. I am your host Juvna and with me is...
Hi guys, I'm your host Nad. As usual, coming up on the show, we will be catching with our one and only Kel.
We also have an exclusive interview from Karan Johar with Nad, who will be talking about his past, present and future.
Also coming up on the show, we will be catching with the guy from Tinseltown to see what he has in store for us this week. When it comes to Amitabh Bachchan, he needs absolutely no introduction, with him having billions of fans all around the world. He's worked for many years, but Yuvna, it seems like the pinch is really affecting him at this stage of his life. It seems like during a felicitation ceremony that was held in Chennai, he had fallen asleep.
Yep, he was actually given that ceremony in Satyam Cinema in Chennai, and he was also given 24 shawl in that honour. And when asked what he was going to do with the 24 shawl, he said that obviously he will give them away to the needy. But the 24 shawls was actually least of his worry when the poor guy woke up hysterically wondering where he was while he's in his own hotel room. Now, Balki has said, you've to understand that we are not talking about an ordinary man. Big B is actually a legend. People at his age are normally in a rocking chair, whereas Big B is rocking away.
Totally have to agree. And all the best from the Brits Bollywood team. On that note, let's catch up with Kel. As we know, when it comes to Bollywood, we don't see a lot of actors throwing compliments about. Until now, it seems like Preeti Zinta watched Kajal's performance upcoming film My Name is Khan and was completely wowed.
Now, she did not just say that. She said, take someone like Kajol. I mean, she goes off, gets married, gets a kid, disappears for 3 years, then comes back and does a movie like My Name is Khan. Now, that in itself is a massive achievement.
Well, Preeti, we definitely agree with you there. That brings us to the question of the week. What is the name of the film that Kajol and Shah Rukh starred together as a lead actor and actress? Send your answers to the email address below, which is britsbollywood@ztv.co.uk.
Now we will go for a very short break, so come back and see us in less than 5.
Welcome back after the break. So Yuvna, tell me, what's the goss?
Well, Sajid Nadiawala's last movie, Come Back Ish, had only had a very lukewarm welcome in the box office. But we all have higher hopes for his next mega movie, Anjana Anjani. So much so that even the superstars of this movie, Ranbir Kapoor and Priyanka Chopra, have agreed to work on minimum rate. Now, that's one thing to remember about this movie. It will be shot all around the world.
Now, the producer also added to that he wanted to give both of them 2 different looks, and he also wants Sylvester Stallone back on this project. So it should be a very interesting project to actually see how their looks turn out and how his performance is in the particular project.
Let's now go and catch up the exclusive interview of Karan Johar with Nad.
Now, Karan, it's an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, Karan, firstly, before we actually move on to your film, what I want to talk about is you as a child. Tell me a little bit about you. How were you? Were you a plumpy kid? Were you quite an outgoing kid? How was your personality as a child?
I was the only child to my parents. I was, of course, a very fat, spoiled, indulged child. Though my father was a filmmaker, I geographically lived very far from where normal kids from the film fraternity lived, which is the suburbs of Bombay. I lived in South Bombay, which is the other end of Bombay. In Bombay, we have this geographical divide of North Bombay and South Bombay, and you know, they're 2 different cultures altogether. The people are almost different from each other. I lived in South Bombay in a neighborhood which was very non-filmy, non-film friendly. No one really was aware of what was happening in the movie industry, and I grew up in that atmosphere. So of course, being part of the film career or having a film career was really a far out option. And I was very academic. I was a really good student. Of course, I was too fat to be sporty, so there was nothing sports oriented. So all I did was watch a lot of cinema. And I think I was a bit of an old soul even when I was really young, because kids my age who read all kinds of like action comics and Tintin, Asterix stuff, I always read like more evolved literature. I read more profound books even when I was 10 and 11, as opposed to other kids my age. And even when the VHS phase, the video phase came about, everyone watched all kinds of like great cartoons, action films, fun films for kids. I watched a lot of vintage Raj Kapoor, Guru Dutt. My music was always of that generation. My mother heard a lot of music of the 40s, 50s and 60s, and I used to always sit next to her and enjoy the same kind of music. So I was a different child. I wasn't like your quintessential young growing up kid who kind of liked sports, you know, comics and enjoyed all the kind of sporting activities kids my age did at that time. I liked Indian cinema, I loved Hindi cinema. I grew up watching that. So I had a very normal, fun childhood, but my influences were always slightly vintage. And I think all that it finally came about in my choice to be a filmmaker.
Now, Karan, you've also acted in films, and now you're actually behind the camera. So do you think it's actually helped you build your experience and what to expect from an actor, from you being an actor as a director?
No, my co-interest was never to be in front of the camera. It was really that I did sporadically in a few incidents here and there. But my basic presence in front of the camera has been my talk show, where I'm being myself. So that was something I've always wanted to do. Again, it was something that I was always a people's person. I was always very, very chatty as a person, and I used to chat all over the place, have conversations with people all over the world. So one day I finally thought, why not just get paid for it? You know, put yourself out there and make money on it as well. I mean, jokes aside, it's something I enjoy. Coffee with Karan, my talk show, is really a hobby of mine and that I took forward. But really, it was not. My primary passion is always filmmaking. It'll always be being a director. Everything else is a derivative of my hobby or my hobby. For me, making movies, directing movies is really where my core soul and passion lies.
Now, Karan, tell me, where do you get your creative ideas from?
My inspiration really comes from life itself. My understanding of human relationships, the dynamisms that I observe. My travel does that, helps a lot. My interaction with various people all over the world, just my observations. I'm not an avid film viewer. I watched a few films that I really think I should watch. I watch all of Hindi content, but world cinema-wise, I watch filmmakers of like repute, be it Almodovar or some great Chinese films. I read very few books. I listen to very little music. It's not that I'm all about music, books, and cinema. No, I think my inspiration really comes from life itself. I think I have a certain observation power that I like to nurture and enhance on a daily basis. And I think that's been a big inspiration for me. Life, my observations, my travel, all that is really a big part of my cinema.
So her fashion designer, she was for Shah Rukh Khan for quite a while now. How did that come about?
It's a hobby I've had. Fashion designing is something I've always been very, very passionate about. Fashion is something I'm very, very passionate about. Designing clothes for Shah Rukh was just something that happened organically from Dilwale onwards, and then he and I have a comfort zone. We're like family to each other. I know what he likes. I know what he likes to wear. So I did it as a hobby. It's really a hobby. I love it.
Now, Karan, tell me about your future plans.
Just producing more films, directing more films, just being part of the whole media burst that surrounds us on a daily basis. Just being out there in the world of entertainment and entertaining people. That's really what I want to do all the time.
Not planning on becoming a pilot or something else to add to your list?
No. I think I've done enough. I'm multifaceted enough to handle. This is all my plate can take. I think I'm writing, producing, directing. I'm behind the camera, I'm in front of the camera, I'm just being me, myself and I all the time. So I love it. I love every minute of it. I feel where else in the world can you sing, dance, laugh and cry and still be at work? I love the movie business. I love Hindi cinema. I love the film fraternity and I love being a part of it. I don't think I can fly a plane. I don't think I can do anything beyond and above cinema. One thing I regret is that I can't sing. I wish I could sing. But I know that is something that's not even, that's an irrational dream to even have, because I know it's not in me at all. But if at all I regret one thing in my life, that I can't sing.
Thank you ever so much for being part of Brits Bollywood.
Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, we are coming towards the end of our show. Now, before we let you go, Nad, what was this week's question?
Now, the question of this week is, what was the name of the last film that Shah Rukh and Kajol starred together in? Send your answers to the email address below, which is britsbollywood@ztv.co.uk.
Now, this is all for this week. We will see you same place, same time next week. Until then, he's been Nad. Bye.
Foremost of the film, My Name is Khan, and when she seems like she did a lot of good things to say.
Breathe, breathe, you're gonna die, breathe.
Until now, it seems like Preeti Zimba.
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 We're talking about the Lion King, you know.
Go.
We're talking about Bollywood.
Go. When it comes to Bollywood, we all know that not a lot of actors or actresses throw a lot of compliments about that's unnecessarily. Okay. Well, I have to totally agree with you there, Preeti, as well as the Preeti.